Hello.
Hello,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. Stars, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Fine, thanks. I'm
Great,
seeing
great.
that Dr. Moore is here.
Yes, I noticed her
Yes.
on the system. It's now
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, and and I think we need to start. We have 23 persons. How many persons we expect to be here?
I have no idea that,
Both
but everybody was told.
both
So
first and second year.
yes, first and second year.
Right,
And I see people from both groups.
right. Okay, so let us start. It's 3 o'clock, a minute past three. These are indeed challenging times, and so we have to take extraordinary steps. And maybe this is the context in which we are having this session today, Sunday, which is a church day for some persons. I know that most churches, the activities are kept at home. So, but nevertheless, we have to press on. This will continue forever. I'm sure that we will overcome all these challenges sooner than later, because we clearly, as Jamaicans, and I'm sure the rest of the world, have that determination that we are not going to live forever with the virus. We're going to subjugate the virus, and we're going to continue, maybe not in the same old way, but at least at some level of authority and control over our lives. And this is at least one of the ways to do it. That is to get ourselves up to speed for teaching and learning. So let me formally welcome everyone here, especially our students from the HRD program. We expect to have both first year and second year students. Um, and our main aim is to get you up, what I call up to speed with the technology for teaching and learning. But let me also take time out to welcome our special presenter from the School of Education, Dr. Schontal Moore. Just to say, for those who didn't know, she did the presentation for the academic staff for the HRD program yesterday, and she was willing and clearly here to also deliver the training, what I call basic training, for persons to utilize the technology so that teaching and learning can proceed. So the main purpose is to get persons up to speed as far as OurVLE and BBC, Blackboard, Collaborate, those two platforms that will be used. Of course, Zoom will always be available, and we are not going to throw our traditional email and the other forms that we have been using. Some persons may have had some exposure, especially to OurVLE. So you're going to get full exposure because of the new format for the program. I'm going to ask Olivine to make any general comments about the program. We will want to take after the training, and hopefully in terms of the amount of time we'll take, surely is over an hour. So we'll decide on that exactly how much time, and hopefully have some time for students to raise any general questions. So general questions won't be raised now, but after the formal presentation of the session, and we will be available for 10 or so minutes for that. So Olivine, any general comments?
No, you've said it all. I just wanted to thank Dr. Moore for coming to us. She came to us before to work with the lecturers and has come back again to work with the students. And I'd like to thank her for her generosity in her time and her expertise. And we have been getting excellent comments from the persons who were there on Friday about what they learned. There are people who were saying they really wish that they had got that before the week, but you know, we do what we can. But thank you so much, Dr. Moore. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was hoping that you would do exactly what you did last time. You did a little bit on OurVLE, you did some work on Blackboard Collaborate, but of course, telling the lecturers how to engage students, but then maybe today telling students what they can do to get the most out of these sort of classes. Because Dr. Moore, the class, most people here wouldn't know, has been the person who's been running this program or been running a similar sort of online forum for several years in the School of Education. So not only is she a lecturer in School of Education, but the fact is she's an online person. She knows how to run programs online and get the best out of students, which is why she's such an enormous resource for the University of the West Indies at the moment. She has done this not only with us, but with other groups of lecturers. So please help me to welcome the usual HRD welcome to Dr. Schontal Moore.
Great, thanks so very much, Olivine. Thanks a lot, Prof. Hutton. And good afternoon, academic staff, colleagues, if you are here, and good afternoon, students. All right, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I know you could be chilling, you could be watching Netflix, you could be doing all kinds of things, and particularly being with family, but you have chosen to invest in your education today. You're taking the time out to be trained so that come over the next few days, few weeks, you want to ensure that you know how to engage the virtual learning environment so that you can do well. And so just want to express special thank you. And I appreciate that you came here, and I will try my best to make sure that today is worth the effort, all right? So then, just want to do a quick show of hands. We're on Zoom now, and I want to get a sense of, you know, how you're feeling. Are you good? Are you feeling, you know, sufficiently adjusted to all that is happening around us locally and globally? You're finding a place where you can just relax and get back into education. Do we have any such persons? If you're in the chat space, could you just type a yes in the chat space if you're getting in that frame of mind to just accept and be, and to weather this thing as best as you can. Just use the chat space to type a Y or a yes, if that's you. So I see Sean has said yes, you know, he's at that place. Ashley is also at that place. All right, just 2 out of 48 of us. What has happened to the others? Is it getting there? I appreciate that honesty, Stephanie. That's excellent. All right, what about the others? Is there anyone who is a no? Very good, Joan, getting there. Is there anyone who is a strong no? Anybody? Very slowly says Galaxy Note 8, whoever you are. Yes, Joan is getting there. Excellent. Well, I can tell you that we're all in this together.
Debbie said, not really.
Andrea says not quite. All right, no problem, not really. Excellent. I appreciate the honesty, and just want to say that we are all in this together. And as Prof. Hutton said, we are going to find ways to get past it and get back to some state of normalcy, if not 100, but get into a new norm that we can all say, yes, yes, yes. All right, so let's turn our attention to online education. Is there anyone who has never done a class online? Never. Just say me. Just type the me in the chat space. I've never done an online class before in my life. All right, a couple of me's. I like how the me's are rolling in much quicker than the earlier question. The earlier question asked you to be in a space where you had to really reflect and think. With this one is a yes or no answer. So quite a lot of me's and nevers. So I want you to type in there one adjective that's describing how you're feeling now going into this online space. Just give me an adjective. Type one adjective. Anxious, understandably so. Hopeful, I like that positive spin on things. Uncertain, nervous, curious, I like the mixture very much. Marsha, what about you? I don't see anything from you rolling in, Marsha. And you're, I know your face very well. And what about Nichelle? Nichelle, are you there? Are you rolling in any comments? I'd like to hear from others of you. Uncertain, anxious, at home, and comfortable. I like that, while someone else is uncomfortable. Excited. Thank you very much, Nichelle. I appreciate that. The reality is that we won't all be at the same place, and we shouldn't expect to be at the same place. Each of us will have a different reality going into online learning, because this is not what we all signed up for initially. You had signed up for a face-to-face program, but COVID forced us into choosing another option. And because we value you as students and we know that you want to complete your program, we have opted to go online because we are responding to the need for you to finish out your program, and we want to ensure that you get the best as we finish. And face-to-face will not be the same as online and vice versa, but I can promise you that the experience can be great either way, either in face-to-face or online. It really just depends on a couple of things. It depends, I want to start with maybe you, the students. It depends on what you come expecting. Depends on what you come expecting. So it's good to have high expectations, and I would support that 100. But what you have to do in this time is to exercise flexibility and to accommodate, knowing fully well that your lecturers were also plunged into this, just as you. So if your lecturers are not quick on the draw, if they don't seem to be, au fait with the technology as you'd want them to be, if they are not, if there are some technological glitches where you lose out on time because you're on at 3 o'clock and your lecturers are not on yet, and so on, I'm gonna ask you, let's try to be patient and flexible and exercise a lot of tolerance, because your lecturers are also getting the hang of this as you are. So that expectation is there. The other expectation is that your lecturers are going to deliver the best way that they can. And I know that every lecturer on this program has that intention to deliver the best way that they can. So if it means that sometimes they'll have to call on the expert advice of students in the group, because there are 52 of us in here now. And the truth is, we're all at different levels of competence. And so you might find that your lecturer is not as savvy technologically as you might be. So I'm gonna say in this online space, as we finish out this semester, that you try to be your lecturer's keeper, your colleagues' keeper as well. You're gonna help each other to get through this and get through it well, all right? So if it is that your lecturers are not identifying the right button or label or whatever it is, and you know the answer, let's be gracious and let's bring each other along. We'll get to that place. The important thing is we're all of the same accord. We're moving on to finish out our education in this program. And that's what we're about, all right? So then students, you will be doing your program online. And so we know that your lecturers have expectations. We know that you have expectations. We know that we have to be patient, we have to be flexible. So now we also have to know how to use the interface so that we can get the best we can. So the interface that we'll be using is OurVLE. It's the system that UEMONA, the learning management system that UEMONA uses. When you look at it in terms of background context, It's really built on Moodle. Moodle is a learning management system that UWI uses, but UWI, we have personalized it and we have called it OurVLE, means Our Virtual Learning Environment. So that is a space in which we're going to be learning for the rest of the semester. Now, every student who is registered in this program should, and if not quite yet, will have access to OurVLE. Once you have registered for your courses, then you should have access to OurVLE. If it is that when you log into OurVLE, you're not seeing your courses there, then I know that you know, it will be worked out. Ms. Thomas will assist you through the process. Just make sure you maintain those communications with her to ensure that you get sorted out, all right? So when you get into OurVLE, remember that UWI has a password system, and it's that password system that you have to use to enter it. So every student has a unique ID number. So that unique ID number is what you use to log in. And that password that started with your date of birth, and then you changed it to something unique to you, that's the password that you use to get in. Remember that MITS, Mona Information System, right? MITS, Mona Information and Technology System. Remember that they change a password every so often. So you have to watch it, you have to monitor it, because when you log into OurVLE, it will tell you how many days you have left to the change of your password. Don't let the password expire if you don't have to. If it expires on you, then you have to call MITS and go through the process of getting it sorted. Whereas if you monitor the timeline, you can actually change the password yourself, and it's just a seamless process. So let's exercise some responsibility as students by making sure that one, our ID and our password to get into MITS, that those are functioning. If they aren't functioning well, certainly before tomorrow, by tomorrow, I'm gonna ask you to contact MITS and get yourself sorted out so that you can be a part of the class, all right? So then when you get into OurVLE, I'm gonna share my screen with you now so that you can see what it is that you are likely to be seeing. Now, every lecturer's classroom, yes.
How much time do you plan for your session?
Today?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm planning not to go beyond an hour.
Okay, great.
All right, thanks. Today's Sunday, people need to eat dinner and be with family, all right? So when you log into OurVLE, you're gonna find that every lecturer has a different kind of look to their space, right? I am logging into one of my core spaces for you to get a sense of what it looks like when you see it. Now, when you log into OurVLE, on the top right, you'll see the Our Virtual Learning Environment, and then just beneath that, you'll see home, my courses, then you'll have your faculty, and so on, and a string of other things. This line here, I refer to it as the breadcrumbs. If you remember the Hansel and Gretel story, how, you know, they went off into the woods and they dropped breadcrumbs or they dropped stones as a way to find their way back. So these breadcrumbs at the top will actually help you to find your way back. Yes, you can use the back button that is in your browser, but if you don't want to go, you can choose where you go back to by clicking on the appropriate link at the top. All right, so I'm all the way into this course in semester 2, which is EDRS 6-23 and so on. So that's the first thing you have to know to navigate using the breadcrumbs. A second thing that you have to pay attention to is that sometimes on the left and always on the left and sometimes on the right, you'll have these different blocks. You're seeing my participants block, my people block. You're seeing my activities block and so on. Well, I'm actually in a view that students will see. So if I click on participants, what it does, students, it takes you to all the students who are registered in your course. And it shows when last they accessed the course. So lecturers will be able to see when you last logged into the course. So you have to make sure that you don't go around, you know, hiding information or telling false information, because your lecturers actually can track you. And then it can also be that your lecturers can click on your name and they can actually see other things about you, right? And because of the view that I'm in now, I'm in student's view. So you're not going to be, you're not going to be seeing what the lecturers can see, but the lecturers can actually see your logon status. They can actually click an additional feature to see when you last logged in. They can look to see what are the sites that what are the different tools or activities that you looked at, how long you've been on them, all of those kinds of things. So the online space lends itself to more accountability, right? So whereas in the face-to-face, you can hide away, you can slip away, you can say anything and your lecturers have no way of verifying it. I just want to put it out there that in the online space, your lecturers definitely can check up on you more often. And so when it is that you do not log in, your lecturers are likely to reach out to you to say, hey, Schontal, what has happened? How come you have not logged in for now 20 days? Let's stop. All right, so be aware of that, the participants, but also in the participant spot, I'm going to encourage every student to upload his or her pic. In the participants section, you can actually update your setting to have your photograph. If you notice, my photograph is right up top to the right beside my name, Schontal, and that's a photograph which I have uploaded to OurVLE. Choose a photograph that's appropriate and do your thing. And then the activities are here on your left, and the activities actually are the different tools that your lecturer is using within the OurVLE space. So in this course, students have assignments to do. The external tools is where the Blackboard Collaborate session is located. Students have forums, and students also have resources in terms of links to external maybe sites like videos, PDF documents, Word documents, and so on. So those are the activities that I am using in my particular course. If you also notice that there's an administration block where the students can click and see the grades that they have gotten for any assignment that they have submitted and the lecturer has marked. You can actually click to see what the grades are. And then this switching role, it's because I am now functioning as a student. So if I were to return to my normal role, my screen would change and I could get back into the lecture frame. But I'm not going to be in the lecture frame today. Today I'm operating with you as a student. So you get into your course and you're going to find that your lecturers will welcome you into the course space, and that's very good. Pay attention to whether or not, look at what your lecturers are saying. They might be informing you of alternative ways that you can communicate with them. Phone numbers, email addresses, they might set up a consultation space for you. Different lecturers, as I said, will do it differently. And, you know, so you will, when you come in, don't necessarily think that it's going to be the same across every lecturer's course space. Not at all. There are some basic things. There's a framework that's basic, the OurVLE framework. But when you go inside each course, the lecturers will sort of organize their courses differently. And I want to use again the metaphor of a house. You can think about like a townhouse complex, and all the townhouses in the complex look the same from the outside, the same color paint on the outside, the same kind of roofing, the same kind of windows and so on. They're all the same on the outer part. And that's what you'll find with OurVLE. The course containers are all the same on the outer part. But when you go into each townhouse, the decoration, you know, how they have outfitted the inside, everybody's different to some regard. And so when you come into your courses, you're going to find differences, all right? But I just want to highlight to you some of the things that you need to pay attention to when you come in. So I already pointed out the participants page, the kinds of activities, pay attention to your welcome and contact information from your lecturers. There's a space called class news and announcements. When lecturers post here, it's a message that goes out to all students, and it goes out to your UE email address, because that is what UE Mona has for each student on the system. You are linked to your UE Mona address. So you need to activate your UE Mona address, because if you don't, it might be that you will be missing out on some key communication from your lecturers. So please activate your UE Mona, because OurVLE links directly to it, unless you have that, MITS does that transfer for you to another email account. But it is set up so that every US student can get communication from here. Your course outline, you would definitely need to look at, and if there is a welcome note and so on. So I'm just showing you how this course is set up. The assignments, if you notice, I will click on, these are some of the assignments here within the space. And I could actually click on one to give you a sense of what it might possibly look like. All right, so we'll take a feature. And every student will be required to submit an assignment. So that's the body of the assignment. This is a course that you are not doing. This is one of my courses in the School of Education. But your assignment is set up there and the specifics are clearly noted. And then what is important to you, the student, is what is here at the bottom, the due date. The due date for this assignment is Sunday, the 26th of November, and there's a timeline by 11:55 p.m. That is what this lecturer has decided as the time and date by which my students need to submit this. But other lecturers might want to work with a 5 p.m. cutoff time. Others might not have a Sunday as a submission date. They might have a Friday. The majority of lecturers will give you the span of a week to do your thing, at least minimum a week. But you have to ensure that you are aware of the timeline and you work with that timeline. Now, students have 7 days to go. And if students submit after the 7 days and 8 hours, what is going to reflect on the system for lecturers to see is a late assignment. And the lecturer will know that you have submitted late, and it might be the lecturer's prerogative to penalize you, or it could be that the lecturer might not mark your piece. The lecturer also has the option to not take any late assignment if he or she so sets up the assignment space like that. So I would implore every student, make note of your assignment deadlines and work with those. And this is where you would add your assignment. Where you see add submission, it would force you to click on add submission. When you click it, it should actually take you to a space, right? See there, it changes now at the bottom. So it's asking you to drop the assignment here. All right, so you can actually drag the assignment from wherever folder it is. You'd have to minimize the screen like this. So you'd have to make your screen a little small if you want to drag and drop. And then you would open up your folder wherever it is that you have saved it. And I'm just gonna show you something. So if it is, I don't think you're seeing my folder that I've opened, but I'm just gonna show you. So if it is that you have it there somewhere, then what you would do now, you would drag it from here and you drop it over there, right? There's a server connection error. It's not going to allow me to drag and drop because I'm really at a lecture parading as a student. I'm in a space where I'm not supposed to be uploading. So this is purely for demonstration purposes. But for you, the student, you can definitely drag and drop it in. And once you have done your drag and drop, it's going to give you now the option to save the changes. And when you save the changes, you're going to see your document attached. If you don't want to drag and drop, then you can use these two little folders here, to add. You can actually see the file submission, the little thing which says add. You can add it and then it will prompt you to browse and all of those kinds of things. So once you submit it successfully, ladies and gentlemen, your assignment is updated and you're good to go. And your lecturer is the only person who will have access to your assignment. No one else except your lecturer, all right? That's for the assignment, all right? Any questions about the assignment tool? And any questions before I move on to another tool, some of the key tools? That's your assignment that you would submit, all right? So you click on the assignment. And the assignment I have here, share a welcome. I did this, created this space for us. And notice that the due date is April 18 at 12 a.m. And that's notice now. Assignment is overdue by 1 day and 15 hours. So once you allow your assignment date to pass you, this is the red message you're going to be seeing. And when you upload it, your lecturers are also going to see that. And you go out, but you can still add a submission if it is your lecturers are making it so that you can submit late assignments, all right? Any questions about assignments? Let me pause, let me stop sharing briefly and give you a moment, right?
I noticed a thing about make changes to assignment. When you make changes to assignment, is it the later date that comes up or it's still the original date of submission?
It's the later date which comes up. Once you are making, it's a newer thing which is there.
Okay, so you still look as if you were late.
Correct.
Okay.
But if your lecturer has a problem, the lecturer can go in and check the analytics to see that you had already submitted and that you made modifications to it.
Okay. All right.
Schontal?
Yes, go ahead, Grace.
Grace, can you ask the students to ensure that they save in an electronic copy of their assignments?
Thank you so much. So you have heard it from Grace's mouth. Because you are working with OurVLE and you have to upload an e-copy, Grace is asking you, Dr. Grace is asking you to please ensure that you keep a folder wherever on your jump drive or computer, and every single assignment that you upload for each class, you must keep a backup copy just to be on the safe side, all right?
Especially in the case where we know we have power cuts or you may have done something and the system will not necessarily maintain a backup copy. It's still unsure as to whether that can be done. So students must have a backup copy somewhere.
Excellent. So please ensure that you keep very good records. All right. So that's the assignment.
See, Debbie was saying that is consideration given to the possibility of challenges or glitches that may arise regarding the technology itself.
Absolutely, Debbie. Your lecturers are human beings and they know what is happening now. And so what you should do, any student who is submitting, suppose you're supposed to submit something today at 4 p.m. and you notice at 3:50 that your Wi-Fi is iffy and all kinds of things, then you need to send a communication to your lecturer. And right there within OurVLE, you can send a message to your lecturer by clicking on the participants link and finding your lecturer's name, click it, and you'll see send a message. You can send a message there so that when the lecturer opens up OurVLE, the lecturer will see that message from you. Dear Dr. Grace, I did not submit on time because I had internet challenge. I'm having internet challenges now. So in the event that my assignment doesn't get to you at 4, just to let you know. Right,
in fact,
yes, go ahead.
No, I'm saying the university is actually saying that it is encouraging people to give a band of time. So they have a 48-hour period because the university does understand that internet problems arise in Jamaica all the time. So the university was saying that's why they didn't want to have timed exams and that sort of thing, proctored exams. That is why they're doing a lot of take-home exams and submission of assignments, precisely for what Debbie is saying there.
Agreed. So students really shouldn't be waiting until the 11th hour to submit an assignment. Plan for it. But really, sometimes it is that it should be the 1 or 2 persons, not every student in the class who is working down to the wire and, you know, will have those kinds of challenges. So please go ahead. And I'll tell you this little joke about, I'll say it out loud just to get it out there. In my years of teaching online, I've seen students who have uploaded a Word document, knowing fully well that it's a blank Word document or it's not the correct assignment. And then they will pretend like, you know, they thought they had uploaded the correct thing. And so now when I'm coming to mark it or days later, we'll discover that when I open the lecture, open it, it's blank, or some other crazy thing is there that doesn't apply to the assignment. Please do not do that. It makes you, the student, look bad because the lecturer knows what you're doing. So let's not do that. Let's be responsible as adults, and we're all adult learners. There are times when an issue might arise. Talk with your lecturers, let them know ahead of time. Don't try to hoodwink the system and, you know, because you're the only person looking bad. All right, don't
Besides,
upload.
when the
Yes,
lecturer asks for the assignment, they will see the date on which your assignment. So you've done the assignment after the time, and they will see that on the file when you upload that. Because believe me, people like me check for that sort of thing.
right. So there you go. There are other ways of going in and double checking even more so. All
Dr.
right, go
Moore,
ahead, Grace.
can you explain to them how to ensure or how to check and ensure that their document was uploaded?
Well, you will see, I am assuming that everyone has sent an email before and an attachment to the email. So when you do upload and you click save, you're going to see that little word signal on the page to show that you have uploaded. All right. So if you're not seeing it, then your document isn't uploaded. You just need to look and you'll see that the page looks differently. All right. I wish I could show you, but because I'm in a lecturer role and not as a student, I won't be able to. But you, the student, when you go on, you will see it whenever you have an assignment. And as Ms. Thomas says, don't wait until the last day or the last moment. You can check before, and you know, if you're not sure, you can get feedback from someone who is au fait with the system to tell you whether it's up or not. All right.
Sorry, one last thing, Doc. You showed when you were passing by on your course, you were showing us a lecturer consultation space for students. Could you show us that so that students could see?
Right, definitely. Any more questions about the assignments before going on into the consultation space? All right, so I think we have covered all the bases with assignments. Submit on time. Don't wait until the last minute. If you have challenges, ensure that you communicate with your lecturers. Yes, there might be internet issues, but your lecturer might have a WhatsApp group and so on. So you pay attention to those. Ensure that you keep backup copies in the event of anything that happens. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Dr. Moore. Is there, explain to them whether there is a size limitation as well for the upload of the assignments?
All right, generally the lecturer will tell you the word limit for an assignment. So you should try and work with those word limits available. In OurVLE, a lecturer can choose what's the maximum upload file size. And usually the lecturer will choose the largest, right? So I would say to you, don't let your files be bulky and unwieldy, and work with more just the Word. And you know, some people tend to have all of those, when they do a Word file, they have some borders and a whole lot of pictures and so on. If the assignment doesn't ask for those things, try and keep it basic. And the other question should be, the question you might be asking is, what software do we use to upload? Are we uploading as a Word document or as a PDF document? Usually your lecturers would prefer a Word document, because when they download your assignment, some lecturers will want to give comments on the document. So a PDF, not everyone has a PDF reader to go in and edit. So please upload your documents as Word documents unless otherwise told. And make sure that you stick with the word limit in the event that your lecturer has limited the file upload size. Oftentimes it's one file that you're allowed to upload, but your lecturer can actually enable more than one file. But I would say to you, be very clear about the specifications of submission so that when you upload, you don't have those kinds of challenges. Also, when you upload, sometimes they might set it up that you don't have an opportunity to re-upload. And that is also another challenge. So we want to ensure that when you upload, you're good and ready to go, all right? Because you might, I think the lecturer can choose one upload or multiple uploads, all right? But I would advise you to try and make sure that the document you upload is that final version. If it is that you have to make amendments and re-upload, try. If it fails, then you let the lecturer know and they can allow you to re-upload, all right? So there might be little glitches, but you communicate with your lecturer so that he or she will know and they can assist. All right. Any other questions about the assignment feature?
Or communicate with the office and we would communicate with the lecturer on your behalf.
All right, so the question is, what about documentation? So what about when you submit as a Word file and things get skewed in terms of alignment? Will that be taken into consideration? Usually with the Word documents that I've seen over the years, however you upload it, that is what comes down. I've never seen the Word documents out of alignment at all, unless it is that the lecturer is reading it on a phone or a tablet, but they should be able to, they should know that it's going to maybe open up differently if you minimize screens and so on, but generally it opens up correctly. And yes, OurVLE has a facility for lecturers to return your document with comments. So you upload your version, the lecturer downloads it, and the lecturer will insert comments, and then they re-upload the one with the comments right there. So where do you go to get feedback on assignments? You go right back to the assignment page that you submitted on. That's where you go. All right. So then let's move on from assignments, and we want to now look quickly at another tool, and that is Mrs. Thomas asked me to share with you the bit about consultation. So there are different tools that a lecturer can use to consult with you, all right? A lecturer can use a forum space right here. If you notice, it says consult with your eTutor office hours. This is a forum space, and students can actually go in there. When a student clicks on it, come on. If you notice, I'm spelling out to you that this is where you can post your questions, comments, queries, anything regarding your course here. And the lecturer will log in at least 3 times per week. And the lecturer says on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 4 and 8 to read and give feedback, all right? So you have to, that's the time that the lecturer is telling you that he or she will be there. This is what you'd call an asynchronous kind of consultation space. It means that you and the lecturer are not online at the same time. So your lecturer will need to check this space often enough and see. So here you have Anne-Marie who had submitted something, and the date is there. She submitted it from the 23rd of February, but no response has been given as yet. So I've not responded to Anne-Marie here because we have a WhatsApp space going, and also you, it was, you know, we communicate in many other ways, right? So I've responded to her, and we also meet, but it would be good for lecturers to acknowledge right here that, you know, yes, Anne-Marie, and respond here. So that is something that lecturers will have to bear in mind, that when you put the consultation space, you need to really check it as often. And even if you have other spaces, it would be good to come here and acknowledge. But sometimes a lecturer might forget to come back here and acknowledge if the issue is dealt with in other places. So like within this course, we actually have a Zoom session. So yes, we have the consultation space, that's the office hours, but students, if this is all that you have, then this is where lecturers will go. But there are other places that a lecturer might meet students. So for me, I meet my students every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Jamaican time. And this is a Zoom link. And these are the times when we would meet, all right? So I have other places where I meet with them and I get issues addressed. So the consultation in the Zoom, whereas up here, the consultation office hours is asynchronous. It means that we're not on at the same time. In the Zoom session is a synchronous communication space. It means that we are on at the same time. Just like we are now, this is synchronous, real time, it's happening live. So we know we will log on at 3 p.m. on Sunday and we will have conversation. So that is also another consultation that lecturers might use. A third one could be the chat. And the chat is just like you would do in your text messaging on the phone. But the thing with on the phone is that people tend to check their phones every now and again, or they'll hear a ping coming in, a beep, something to alert them that a message has come in. If the lecturer uses a chat feature, because you can have a chat space set up here, With the chat, the lecturer will need to tell you when he or she is going to be online. So the lecturer might say, I'll be online every Monday and Wednesday from 4 to 5. So if you want to talk in real time with a lecturer, that's when you would need to log in to get the real time talking. Otherwise, it won't be a real time chat, all right? The third option that lecturers are likely to use is the Blackboard session. And Blackboard is similar to Zoom, where you meet synchronously in real time. So whenever you see this little puzzle feature, this little puzzle icon, that's the Blackboard Collaborate icon. And so I'm setting it up, and it's called synchronous meetings. That is how, you know, you should see it loading. And as students, you are going to log in here. My class, there are some other links, but these are not the ones which are important. My students know that this is it. This is the course room, the meeting room, and it is unlocked and available. And that is where my students are going to log in, all right? And what I want to do now, I am going to log into that space, and I'm going to actually send you the link and encourage you to come and join me in there so that you can see what it is like, all right? So let me get into that space. Let me maximize it. Let me stop sharing briefly so I can send you that link, all right? So I'm gonna send it now. So could you just, ladies and gentlemen, I just sent a link to everyone. That's the Blackboard Collaborate link. If you could just open a browser, a new window on your browser and copy the link that is there and click on it. I want you to enter my meeting room. So I'm gonna go to my meeting room now and wait for you all to come in and join me so that you can see what it is like. Because the majority of your lecturers will be using Blackboard Collaborate to meet with you and talk with you in real time. And to get into the room, you would click on, as I showed you, click on the Blackboard Collaborate. Let me back up 1 minute. So what you would do, you would find this puzzle looking icon, you click on it. When you click on it, you'll see that black screen and the circle going around and around. And then you go into the meeting room, whichever meeting room it is that your lecturer has set up. If it is that's a course that is taught by maybe 3 lecturers, then you might have 3 different meeting rooms. You will find the one that is pertinent to you. But here it is, you click on it. And when you click on the meeting room door, you're gonna see this on the right side immediately saying join course room. So because I'm in the course, I can join course room and it will take me into the Blackboard Collaborate room, all right? You are not able to join via OurVLE because you're not registered in my class. And that is why I sent you the link so that you can join. So even if you are not in OurVLE, you can send the link to your phone or send it to your tablet, or a colleague can send it to you. Once you get the link, you can join. You don't always have to join it through OurVLE. So far in the Blackboard room, I'm seeing 13 students, 14, it's climbing, and that's excellent. So this is what the Blackboard looks like in the space. You will have your status and setting, right? So when you can actually, Blackboard Collaborate is very suited for teaching. Zoom is good for meetings and teaching, but Zoom is a little bit limited in terms of what can happen. Blackboard, on the other hand, is designed for teaching online. So when I click on my settings, if you notice, I have feedback. So like when I started, I could have asked you guys, so how many of you are having a great day? You know, give me a feedback, an emoticon to tell me what your day is like. And so many people probably would put happy, some would have sad, I don't know. But from there, it could be an icebreaker now into talking about what persons are going through, maybe for 3 minutes, and then they get into the matter of the synchronous discussion for the day. So you have that option. And also you have the option when you click on you can put up your photograph, you know, you can do more things and put up your photograph and so on. The mic is here. Everybody's familiar with the mic. If I want to talk to you through Blackboard, I would have to unmute And then I can now talk with you and you can hear me through Blackboard Collaborate, all right? I'm gonna mute it back because I'm using Zoom to share. And then you could also have a video, just as with Zoom, and you also have the opportunity to raise your hand if you need to ask a question or comment in the classroom space. You need to look for this purple label at the bottom right of the screen. When you click on that label is going to show you all the features that you want to engage with. So it's quiet in here because nobody has said anything yet. But if I were to unmute my thing and I'd say, hello guys, how are you doing? And so on, then, you know, it could happen. You will see that it's not so quiet. But more than ever, with this, it's actually waiting for me to talk to you. So hi, students. Notice it's no longer quiet. My message is there. So that's a space that we can have our chats. So that's the first thing that you can do there. You can talk. Then the other square is for attendees. When I click on it, I can see all the students who have logged into the Blackboard Collaborate session, the BBC session. So I'm seeing 24 persons have logged in, and Stephen is giving the thumbs up. Nice, you're really utilizing the different features. Excellent there, Stephen. So you can work with it. And if you notice, I am actually able to see what each student is going through. I can look at their control. So many different things a lecturer has the potential to do in the space. And then when I go here to the third square, I'm seeing share content. So when I click on share content, nothing is being shared right now because as the presenter, if I wanted to share a PowerPoint slide with you or so on, then I could do that, right? That's what I would do there. And then this is my settings. This is where I can actually change my photograph. This is where I can change up speaker, all kinds of things I can do in that space, all right? So remember the tabs. The tabs are important. This tab feature is very important, and to Steve's message and with his thumb up, right? So you can also, that emoticon, you can, you know, choose to use different kinds of emoticons in terms of how you're feeling and what's happening, you know. So I've just done the prayer hand. You can, everybody, you can just select an emoticon right now. Once you're in the space, just click on that drop down and put an emoticon there so that, you know, we can see what you're thinking or saying right now. So just to click on something. All right, so that's what you can do. That's one. Very good, Debbie. You're smiling upside down. Nice. Excellent. So what you shouldn't do is get distracted in your classroom space as your lecturers, you know, they're doing their thing. The other thing that I want to tell you about in this is that there's the opportunity for breakout rooms. And by breakout rooms, it means that your lecturers can actually put you in groups to have sessions. So say, for example, this is a class that we're having now. And at 3:55, I'm gonna say, okay, we're gonna pause now, and I'm gonna put you in groups for you to have discussions for 10 minutes. And then at the end of the 10 minutes, I'm gonna bring you all back. So your lecturer really can group you randomly in groups, or your lecturer can put you in groups of choice, how the lecturer wants to. And when you have your discussion in 10 minutes time, the lecturer can get you back from your breakout rooms and bring you into the main room. So let me explain the concept of breakout rooms. If you can think about it, it's like you all meet in the auditorium and we talk. And then you go off into different classrooms to have your meetings. So the breakout rooms are the different classrooms. And then I tell you to come back in 10 minutes time. Everybody comes back to the auditorium. So that's the concept of the breakout rooms. You go and discuss and you come back. And when you come back, you as a student, you can actually have sessions where you're sharing. Yes, Doreen, I see how happy you are. And, you know, so Shauna, you're chilling in your dark glasses. And Shanae is like, really, what is all of this? And Anik is pretty happy. Stephanie, thumbs up. Excellent. So everybody's engaging with the space. So with the Blackboard Collaborate, you as students, you can present as well. And your lecturer can present in the space. Your lecturer also has a whiteboard space. And because I've logged in as a student, that's why you are not seeing, because because I've logged in as a student, you're not able to see the breakout rooms because only the lecturer can create the breakout rooms in Blackboard Collaborate, all right? If you were seen in a lecturer's view, you would see those spaces and so on. But just to let you know that this is a place. Now, this is where I want you also to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna close my panel there, and I want you to look over to my left top right, to the left top right of the screen. You'll see another panel, that little, semicircle with the 3 lines through it. It's a space that you need to know because when you click on it, that's where you can actually go to look at recordings. This is where, if the session is being recorded, and it can be recorded by your lecturers, if you miss the session for any reason at all, you can go here and you can find the recordings. And so you select recordings. It's not showing up here now because, for one, I'm in student view, and 2, there's no recording for this class yet. But once we finish the Blackboard Collaborate session and so on, then any student who might have missed it, or a student who wants to go back over it, you can always go in and listen to the recording that you missed. And you can also leave the session from here. So just to let you know, those are some of the key features. Any questions about Blackboard Collaborate now? Any questions? Any questions about Blackboard Collaborate? All right, so just to let you know that you enter Blackboard Collaborate, you have 2 ways. You can enter going through OurVLE into your course space. If your lecturer has set it up, you enter it there. Alternatively, a link can be sent to you by the lecturer, or whoever goes in can copy the link and send it to you. And you can, so for your classes coming up in this week, if you haven't yet sorted out your registration, if you haven't yet gotten onto the OurVLE and so on, let your lecturers know, let Ms. Thomas know, so that they can possibly copy the link and send it to you. We don't expect you to be in that space eternally. We expect you to sort out yourself so that you can join the course properly, all right? So the last thing, since there's no question re Blackboard Collaborate, I want to now quickly go into the other business of the forum. I just want to quickly show, yes, go ahead.
Dr. Moore?
Yes, please go ahead.
I came in a little late. For the invitations that you sent them directly to OurVLE?
No, I send a link to in the chat space for Zoom. If you look in the chat space, you'll see the.
Oh, I
link.
see. Okay.
No problem. All right.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. So I'm gonna go back
I'm just thinking that that link could have been sent via email or any other means that the lecturer
Absolutely.
wants to invite the student to Blackboard Collaborate.
Absolutely. And you're correct there, Olivine. I just use convenience because we're all in this space, and I wanted everyone to get the experience of logging into Blackboard and see what it is like to move around and play around. All right. So just to point out that this is a more or less what a unit would look like. You'd have your start date and time, not time, the date. So this unit stretched from February 10 to 16, a little preamble from your lecturer about the nature of the unit. Then your lecturers are likely to tell you what are the learning objectives, and then they will possibly put resources there for you to open up and read. And if you notice, when I click on the resource here, a new window opens up to the side, and the resource can actually be like a chapter, it can be an article, you name it, right? So here's an article or a chapter that was uploaded. The resource can also be a video. So when you click on it, the video opens up right there. Welcome, and you can actually listen to it.
Qualitative research methods.
Right.
This tutorial.
So the thing is that sometimes the lecturer will set it up where the resource or the video opens up and takes over your entire screen. Sometimes they set it up where it pops out in a different window, like what you just saw a while ago. And so this now is your forum, where you see those 2 talking or dialogue boxes. That's your forum. And a forum is where your lecturer will possibly pose a question or questions or topics to you. And you, the student, you will go off, think about it, and then it gives you the chance now to reply. So here it is. I've asked students to consider 2 questions and to post a response for peer engagement. And once the student has considered and they're ready to post, the student just hits reply. And when you hit reply, notice that, you know, that's the opportunity for now you to post. So a student, Kanisha, quite a number of students have posted, and notice how students are responding to each other. Eloise is responding to Kanisha's post up top. And that is how this forum was set up, because I want students to talk among themselves for peer engagement. So you're gonna find sometimes that it's you, the students, that the lecturers want to engage and have, you know, animated conversations and discussions around the thing. And then possibly towards the end, the lecturer might or might not jump in. But within this space, we're expecting students to post and to contribute. And the lecturer will put certain parameters in place in terms of how long a post should be, maybe who is supposed to respond to who. Sometimes I might ask students to lead a forum, and all of those things are very possible. But just to quickly show you how the reply would look, if you click on reply, what would happen is this box would open up. And so now it's time for you to post your message. So you can say whatever it is that you want to. Suppose that's your response, you type that, and it will ask you, do you want email? You can say send an email copy of the post, or I don't want an email in this case. So once I've typed, if I wanted to put an attachment to it, like a file or something, I could drop it here, and then I click post the forum. And once I post the forum, it's going to be there. And if you notice, it now says, notice it gives me the opportunity to edit, delete, whereas the one above only has show parent and reply. This one has show parent, edit, delete, reply. It's going to have the edit and delete for at least 15 minutes to half an hour. It gives me that time to think about if I want to make any changes at all. And I actually can go in and edit it. And so if you're editing what you wrote there and you want to write something sensible instead of gibberish, you can go on to say, you know, you can type whatever it is sensibly, and you can save it now. And then when it continues, it shows you what you have, all right? It shows you what you have done. So I scroll to the bottom, and there it is, what I really wanted to put. So after 30 minutes, this will, the edit and delete will go, and I will no longer have an opportunity to edit it. Only the lecturer would be able to go in the back and delete or edit, all right? And persons can reply to you and all of that. And you have an option to delete your post by simply clicking delete. It will ask you, you sure you want to delete? Yes, of course I do want to delete. And notice that the date when you logged in and so on will be there. So there it is. That's your forum, simply where it gives you the opportunity to respond to your lecturer. It gives you the opportunity to post something relevant to the topic at hand. All right, so that's how the forum works. That's just one way in which a forum could look. Your forum could actually be where everybody would have to open up a new, and you don't get to tag on to someone else's space. You can actually get the opportunity to create your own box of a space, right? And it just really depends on how the lecturer has set up that space. So if you notice here, in this forum, I've asked students to watch a video and so on, and then based on it, share your paragraph below for peer and facilitator feedback. So in this case, you'd have to now click add a new topic. Before, you had seen the word reply over on the right, but based on how I've set up this, I want each student to post. Every student will post, will have a box dedicated to him or her. And then from there, we can now reply to each student to discuss this topic. 1 reply so far, 0 replies so far. So that's what I mean. And if I were a student and I wanted to add a new topic, if I clicked it, it's the same kind of thing. I would have to give it a topic which says, I'm gonna call it yes. And I could just type whatever I want in there. As a student, you post it, you continue, and there you have your thing at the top, all right? So that is what it would look like, and I'm going to delete it because I don't need it. All right, are you sure you want to delete? Certainly. So that's what it looks like. So at this point, I am going to pause and ask you, the students, if there are any questions regarding the use of the OurVLE space. It's intuitive to a great extent. You can't ruin anything in the space, students. If you are going to delete something, the system will prompt you to ask, are you sure? And if you say yes, it will delete it. It's not going to have a backup copy. So what I would suggest with your forum post, before you submit your forum post, because it allows you to type directly into the space, make sure you type it into a Word document, as Dr. Grace said. Type your forum comments into a Word document and save it on your hard drive somewhere. And you copy it and paste it into the forum. Because what happens, and it has happened to me before, where, you know, when you type and you click submit, there's a drop in the Wi-Fi, and you have all lost emails like that, I'm sure, where you, when you click submit, the Wi-Fi dropped at that moment and you lost everything. So can you imagine after you have spent time thinking about that post and you lose it? It would make any student tear out his or her hair. So please, for your posts, compose them in Word, save them in Word, then you copy and paste it into the forum space so that if Wi-Fi drops, you have a backup to just go copy and paste it again. That's the advice that I'd want to give. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the gist of how you engage OurVLE, how you interact with it. And just to point out some of the key tools that you're going to see. So let me just quickly summarize. You enter OurVLE through, by just going on to, I should quickly just, everybody should know this, but I'm not taking anything for granted. So when you open up your browser, you open a new window. When you open up your new window, I mean, I have the icon here because I use it a lot, but you just simply type in OurVLE, and if you, so I'm just gonna do that. If you type in OurVLE, there it is, it comes up, you know, you click on your Faculty of Social Sciences, or you click on, and there it is. You can now log in. I'm logged in already, that's why it automatically comes up with my home page. But if I weren't logged in already, it would ask me for my password and so on, and I would get into OurVLE. When you get to your home page, by the way, you're going to see just the courses for which you are registered. If that is not the case, then you can search for your courses by typing in the course code right there. So you type in the course code that you are looking for, and you know, and then you click go. And when you click go, it will take you to the course that you are searching for. All right, so when you get in there, you will see your courses. You click on it, you click on the courses, and this is another course of mine, and the students can go in there and do their thing. So that's how you enter. Pay attention to the message of your lecturers, pay attention to your meeting room, pay attention to the different tools that are there, know how to manipulate them, pay attention to the timeline, the duration of a unit. We're now, if you notice, this is January 20 to 24. I really should move down to a current time. Sorry, so here we are. Go into the space that students are at, so you find the current date that you are working with, or the closest date to currency as you possibly can. So when you get into your courses, you engage. And remember how to upload your assignment, the forum space, the Blackboard Collaborate space, anything that is there, you get in. Remember to save your assignments and so on. So this is where I stop. Any questions or concerns?
I just wanted to point out that sometimes lecturers might hide later lectures, and you can only see what they want you to currently work on.
That's a very good point, Olivine. Thanks a lot, Ms. Thomas. So you might log in and you might only see 2 weeks available to you, but the lectures might be opening a week at a time. So don't think anything is wrong with what you're seeing on your screen. Your lectures are sometimes opening only the current week. They will have the previous weeks, but they're opening, and the new thing that they open is a current week. So you'll have to wait, and they tend to open this maybe on a Sunday or on a Monday for the current week. So know your lecturer and And these are questions that you can ask your lecturer when you meet with him or her for the first time in this online teaching space. Any other questions? Debbie says, I noticed this session is being recorded. Will the session be available after the meeting ends? Ms. Thomas will be able to answer that.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, great. Any other questions or concerns?
Joan, if you should be given a test as an assignment, how would that work in OurVLE?
That's a very good question, Joan. Another tool that is available is a quiz. A lecturer can set up a quiz, and you can have a multiple choice, short answer quiz, true and false, or a combination of those responses. So your lecturer would have to set up your quiz in advance for you to see what that looks like, right? So a quiz is a little, like imagine a page with a tick, that's the icon. And so when the student goes into the test or the quiz, it will tell you when it's open. So the lecturer might set it up that it only opens on Wednesday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That's the timeline. So when you click on it, if you click on it on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you cannot get into the quiz until Wednesday at 1. So the lecturer can set it up like that, or the lecturer might have it open for the whole week and you can log in and do it. The lecturer can time the quiz to say it's only an hour. After an hour, whether you're finished or not, the quiz is going to be submitted without even you manually doing it. So all those parameters are available. So the thing is, the quizzes are automatically marked. So the lecturer can show you your grade. It can set it up for you to see your grade immediately. The lecturer can choose to delay you seeing the grade. So those options are available. And if it is a quiz that contributes to your coursework mark, then your lecturer, once that quiz is submitted and the system marks it, if it's a multiple choice, true or false, short answer, the system will mark it and the lecturer will have access to the grades. So your grades will be available on OurVLE for your lecturers to see. You might not see it yet until the lecturer wants you to see it. So if it is for the course, then you need to know that and put your best in there. The quiz, a quiz can also be like a kind of essay, a paragraph kind of thingy, where the lecturer has to read it and manually grade it. That is also possible. In terms of the confidentiality of a quiz, it's the lecturer's decision about how that quiz is going to be done. So all of us were supposed to be maintaining social distancing now. So in normal times, a lecturer probably would tell all the students to come to the computer lab, do the quiz in the 1 hour, and then leave. But nobody is necessarily going to be over you watching your computer or monitoring it in that way. So if a lecturer is giving you a quiz right now as part of your coursework, then it's a kind of quiz that the answers are not immediately found on online or internet. They're going to set it up so that it's not easy for you to go find the answer somewhere. And they're also going to set it up within a timeline that all students probably will do it for this particular time on this particular day, and that's it. If it is that the lecturer sets it up where you can do it for a week at any 1 hour that is convenient to you, then the lecturer also has the possibility to make the questions random. The lecturer has the possibility to change up things. Many things the lecturer has the prerogative to do with a quiz. So that's an option as well for assessment. Okay.
Schontal, is there a practice space in Blackboard for the students?
Once a lecturer creates a Blackboard session in his or her course and leaves it open, it says unlocked, then the students can go in at any time, even if the lecturer isn't meeting you. It becomes that open space. So students can meet in there if they have a group work doing and they want a space where they can meet like this. They can go into Blackboard Collaborate in that meeting room in the course once the lecturer doesn't lock it, and the students can meet and do their thing.
No,
right?
What I meant is, like, in terms of getting accustomed to Blackboard, is there a practice area where they can go into Blackboard and practice, accessing and go in and look at everything and play around?
It doesn't happen until the lecturer creates it in his or her course space.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's what you'd have to do. I don't know if maybe just on Google, you could type in Blackboard and see if there are free space opportunities, just like with Zoom, that you can go in and create a free Zoom account and play around. Blackboard possibly have that. I've not explored it, but it possibly exists where you can do a trial thing or a free thing. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, based on the discussion that you just had about doing tests on OurVLE, I was just thinking the only lecturer that I am aware of who plans to do a quiz on OurVLE is the statistics lecturer, and I was just thinking it makes sense for him to give even a little statistics homework assignment, so, you know, with the same format as the test. But
Yes,
just as a practice. But I think I'll recommend that because it could be frightening if you're going to be doing it for the first time for a grade.
Right. And it's always good to, you know, the lecturers can, a quiz is also something that is a kind of formative assessment. It doesn't always have to be an end assessment, you know, a summative assessment.
Yeah.
So with the formative, you have been given information to read and to think about. So as a way to close out the unit and as a fun activity, a lecturer can put a quiz in there, but not for grading purposes. Maybe just for participation or to get students to think about how much they have absorbed and processed. So if you see a quiz, if it's not part of your coursework assessment, don't worry about it like it's gonna make or break you in the course. It's really to make you understand and apply the material more.
Yes, good.
Cool. All right, guys, I did say I wouldn't go beyond an hour, and I think I've picked out some of the key areas that you are likely to come across. And please remember that Ms. Thomas will definitely, you know, be there. Any questions or concerns, if it is that you need any assistance, you can let her know. And if I need to, then I will make myself available. So thanks a lot, Mrs. Thomas and Prof. Hutton, for inviting me to share with students. And students that said at the start that we're all at different places. And I want to end by saying, yes, we're all at different places in terms of how we feel right now, our experiences, as well as our competences in technology. But we're all getting there. We're working towards a better place, from anxiety to comfort to hopefulness, and to move beyond curiosity to engagement. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Moore, for coming and sharing today, Sunday. And of course, you were here yesterday. I'm sure that our students will be better off. They are better off. And what they need to do whenever they have challenges, they communicate with each other. My experience so far is that when they have problems and they communicate with their friends, they seem to find solutions. So they need to continue. Of course, it was said the lecturer themselves may have challenges, and sometimes it's the students who seem to come to the rescue. So thanks again, and all the best. We will keep in touch with you, Dr. Moore.
Right. Yes. HRD applause. HRD applause.
Thank you. I'm gonna jump on, guys. I just sent everybody a message just to say, you know, big up and thank you and all the very best. And thank you also for the kind comments about how you found today's session.
Great.
Bye.
Okay. Wonderful. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, so we're going to take the next 10 minutes. I'm sure students will have one or two issues, questions that they may want to ask at this time. So the floor is open.
As I was saying, Mr. Vassell for statistics has already got his exam, his online exam, multiple choice, approved by the Dean's office. You should have been doing a mid-semester test just the weekend after, just the day after the university closed down classes. But he's got this online test approved. So what we're gonna do is have him do a little practice quiz with you, or maybe do multiple practice quizzes with you, so that when that one for grade comes up, it won't be anything new to you. It won't be anything frightening or strange. Is there any other problem that you're having that we haven't anticipated?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello,
Afternoon.
Stephanie. Hi.
Hi, Olivine. I don't know if you realize that tomorrow a meeting is set up with Dr. Hall on Zoom, the same time that a meeting that Mr. Vassell's class is scheduled for.
Dr. Hall wanted to spend just a few minutes telling the people who had to repeat performance management or staffing what the new assignments would be. So it wouldn't even be more than 5 or so minutes. But she just wanted to tell, and it's just the people who have to repeat that course, which would maybe be 3 people, 4 people at the most that we could think of.
Olivine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I am under the impression that the meeting is for the entire class, including first-year students. But what I would do is I would quickly in the first part try to address for the repeating students what has to happen in their case, because most of those would not have to do coursework. They would only be doing exams. And I don't think we have set the date for exams yet, etc. So
no, we haven't set the date, but you could tell them what to do, what sort of assignments would be set.
So I would just briefly explain what we're thinking of, even though it has not been completely finalized in terms of the format of the exam. But for the rest of the class, I need to go through with them because they have substantial coursework that has to be done.
Yeah, so, but it seems like we need a separation then, because
well, it shouldn't be, because the existing students will also benefit from understanding what the exam format is going to be like. So instead of going into coursework initially, I'll address exams first to allow those that have a class with Mr. Vassell. Because I think it's only like 2 persons, Dr. Hutton. I think it's only like 2 persons.
Okay, so we need to inform the other lecturer that the students will be late or something like that, because we don't want them to overlap. Or
right, or you know, ask him if he wants to start 10 minutes later or something. But it's only like 2 persons. I don't think there are more than 2 persons, 3 at the most, who would be from second year coming into that session.
So they may be 10 minutes late then.
And some of them have been flip-flopping classes anyway in face-to-face. So there's not much of a difference here now. But I understand the concern, Stephanie. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Javine, yes.
Geneva, hey. I posted a question in the chat, but I'll just ask. I may be preempting, but in terms of the practicum, will the same forum be used or will it be a different arrangement?
No, I think we have to have a separate meeting for practicum, because that is something that Prof. Huston and Ms. Thomas will also address. That is something that is still under major discussion. So I'm not sure we are quite ready yet to discuss practicum.
Okay, thanks.
Ms. Thomas, I don't know if you agree with me. Professor Hutton, do you agree with me?
Yes. The document, the department had to meet with the other departments in the faculty that have practicum assignments attached to their degrees, and we all had to give a common position from the Faculty of Social Sciences to the university's senior management. We did that, and that document was submitted last week for the whole of the Faculty of Social Sciences. So we have not yet got approval for the various things that we have put instead of the practicum that you were expecting before. But as soon as that comes out, we will let you know. But as I said, we haven't had it approved yet. The sort of things that we're going with are things that you do not have to actually go into organizations to do. You can do online, data collection. You can do things like write manuals and write policy documents and those sorts of things. It's things that you don't need to go physically. But as I said, the faculty agrees, but the university's senior management, they have to agree as well. And it's when they do that that we will get to tell you in detail what we have put forward.
Understood, thanks.
Yes, so a session will be held when we receive the approval and see exactly what and the format and the
However, I
requirements.
did ask the persons who had got organizations to agree to work with them to find out from those organizations if they're still willing to go ahead with you. Not that you're going in, but if they would be still willing to work with you even remotely. So that would help. I'd ask people to do that. I haven't had anybody respond as yet, but please do so. If you have an organization, just double check with them to see if they're still on board.
Yeah. Yeah, and the impression I get is that there are some students who may have would have identified and made contact with organizations, so they're just waiting for the formal stuff to start so that they can proceed with their practical.
Yes, the most important thing being the dates, because even though I'd gotten, I would say, a tentative approval, well, an approval, I probably with the whole COVID situation, you know, not being able to go in, would like to know like the dates. So if it's a case where they can still accommodate us, so that at least want to know the time period that we're working with. But I suppose when all of that is agreed on, then we can make that decision at that time.
Maybe I think we'll be in a position to give some general idea in terms of start date and completion date, but in terms of exact dates, it's going to be after the approval of senior management, but we surely can give you some ideas.
Yeah, but what will probably happen, because I understand Geneviève's concern, what will probably happen anyway, Geneviève, is that there won't be a face-to-face component. Most likely it will be telephone contact or video contact, you know, if the client has Zoom or you have a Zoom account, that sort of stuff, but there won't be any face-to-face contact. So it will be a matter of rehashing the dates now according to, you know, the university's dates, etc.
Right. I'm seeing two questions here. How will we be assessed for finals and what is the date for the test? Though every time when you go to your lecturers will speak with you about these things. That is what the first week was supposed to have been about. I understand that there were some hiccups. So make sure that you ask them this week what their assessments are. The only assessments that have not been approved as yet is a practicum. So they should know what they're doing for all other courses. So they should be able to tell you what they're doing. And as for the dates for the test, for Mr. Vassel's test, I'm assuming, he will be able to tell you that.
Olivine, has the first year students been notified about tomorrow's meeting?
Yes.
And how long had we set aside for that meeting?
No, it was just a part of your class, at the beginning of your class.
Okay. So it won't be really a class. I'll be spending the time explaining to everybody what they need to do as far as their coursework and answering questions and, you know, so forth, so forth. So I noticed a lot of the first years have not come to this afternoon session. So I'm going to ask those that are on here now to pass on the word, because everybody's going to have to know how to use Blackboard. But I noticed a lot of first year persons have not come on the session this afternoon.
The second, there's a question here. Are there plans being considered to provide support for mental and emotional health to better help us cope? The University Health Center is still open for business. So I would suggest you call them. You could call them and speak with one of the counselors there. They're still open for business.
And I think it's important for students to know that we, the lecturers, are aware of the difficulties many of you face. I mean, I'm facing a lot of difficulties too. I mean, you know, and it's a very stressful time for everybody. And one of the nice things about the online learning system is that it's also going to allow the lecturers to even have more of a relationship with you, and you should feel free to share on a one-on-one basis with a lecturer if you're having difficulties. It's not that you're just going to be thrown out there and left to sink or swim. If you're having difficulties, I encourage you to communicate with your lecturer, and if all else is failing, I hate to say Miss Thomas because she's been working like 48 hours in a 24-hour day, but Olivine is still there. She's been a great support to me and to the other lecturers. I know she's been a big support to all the lecturers. So, I mean, you know, feel free to talk with us because it's a very stressful time for everybody. And it's an unusual time, but as I said on one of the other lectures before, this is what we call the black swan time. Out of this should come a lot of good. This is our black swan, and I'm encouraging you also to give feedback in terms of what can be improved and what can be done differently, and you know, just exactly what challenges you're having, whether you're having personal challenges or just challenges with the system, because we know it's a stressful time.
Yes, and as I said to you, we try to anticipate your needs. So, but you know, tell us if there are things that we did not anticipate, but we did try to anticipate what you needed and put that in place for you.
Any additional questions?
There's a question here about paying the balance and then getting grades. I'm not seeing the something about grades. Alvin, what do we do if we're unable to pay our school fees? Will we be able to sit our exams until, okay. The principal has said that given these unusual times that we're going through, the university will try to be a little more lenient in terms of allowing students access to the facilities. So for example, ordinarily, you would not be able to get on OurVLE if you haven't paid your fees. So the principal said that he was going to instruct MITs to be a little more flexible about that sort of thing. Now, the exams that you're getting, the ones that have been approved, it's not a sit-down exam where you swipe a card to get in. So the lecturers will be giving you take-home assignments. They'll be asking you to do things online and that sort of thing. So yes, you will be able to do work without having completed your payments. However, you do recognize that we can still hold on to grades, and you would not get your grades until we were assured by the bursary that all was well. But yes, this is actually a blessing for people who haven't paid, that they can still get through because of the unusual times, and the principal saying that he's going to be a little more lenient. Not indefinitely, but he will be a little more lenient.
I think students will still have to go and make the necessary negotiation and agreement, because ultimately the grades have to be submitted before your completion of your degree.
Program.
Yeah, and your program. So even if the payments are delayed because of the different mechanisms in place, ultimately you will be expected to complete your payment up to this point, and there's no change in that. There may be some delay.
Yes, all right. There's another question here. Just wanted to know if lecturers are aware that our students are essential workers, that some students are essential workers and work until 5 p.m. and this may cause the student to be late for classes on Blackboard and Zoom. Yes, the lecturers are aware, and the lecturers have been taught how to do recordings for their courses on Zoom, on OurVLE or Blackboard. They've been taught how to do everything. So the lecturers will have to save their classes, and you can ask your lecturer for access to a recording. They can send you a video via WeTransfer or whatever other means. They can email videos if they're small enough, and they can have them in the archives of Blackboard Collaborate and maybe post them on OurVLE. So the students should be able to see that. Join the class late, but then look at the recording so that you get the section up to where you got before. if you have, there's a somebody has contacted a company and to facilitate with the practicum. Yes, we are still, I'm working from home. It's not that I'm on holiday or anything. So if you need a letter, I can still provide a letter. Obviously, I'm just emailing it to you. I'm not producing any paper letters anymore, any hard copy of letters. So if you just send me the details, just as you did before, I will provide the letter for you to send to the organization that is agreeing to help you. At a meeting with Dr. Hutton recently, he said a hard copy of the final intervention report is required in addition to the uploaded copy. Is this still the case? Professor Hutton?
Which group is this?
A member of the class is asking, at a meeting with Professor Hutton recently, he said a hard copy of the final intervention report for OD is required in addition to the uploaded copy. Is this still the case?
Yeah. Well, I made the point that they need to submit their completed assignment soft copy, but still have prepared a hard copy, because this is a requirement of the university that you really need to have a copy of the assignment stored up to 2 years before disposal. But for based on the immediate needs and the agreement of the university, your assignment must be submitted soft copy.
Yes, because there's nobody to actually accept a hard copy for you, from you, at the HRD office.
Right.
But yes, just have it, keep it at your home, just have it there. This will end at some point, and then you can just bring it in and we store it just to have it in case there's any legal requirement later. But that wouldn't be for now. The university has already said to us that the rest of this academic year will be in this online forum. So we're not expecting that we will be back in the office operating in the way that we used to do before.
Yeah, I just want to support what Dr. Hutton said, because in a prior meeting that was, Dr. Hutton, what I was indicating, that the university must maintain a thread of the work. So yes, the hard copies are going to have to be handed in at some stage. Whether they be mailed in or whatever, they will have to be handed in.
Okay, so let me say thank you for everybody, all the students who turned up. I noticed a number of your colleagues are missing, hopefully, but of course, we have the recorded version here. And
sorry, Disraeli, sorry to interrupt you, but I see a question on here that's probably important. Donna is asking about summer. What will happen for summer school?
Well, I think training will be the main, training and the practicum. We hope to decide, hopefully by tomorrow or Tuesday, when the training class will commence. Our intention is to curtail the class in terms of the spread over a number of weeks. So maybe one of the things that we'll do is to have two sessions per week, as against a session per week, which would take us for 13 weeks. So we want to do the course within 10 weeks, and as far as possible, cover the required hours. Of course, the training, normally we would have a training needs assessment activity. We are thinking of case study and further exploring, because there's a real possibility based on experience with the other group dealing with organizational diagnosis, that those groups maintain the contact with organizations. So, and the contact has been virtual. So we want to explore and see how much of that can be incorporated as far as the training exercise is as far as is concerned. But of course, we will discuss further and inform you when the start date will be, and then you will have a clear understanding of how we're going to proceed. Just to say that it will be a take-home exam, so that 60% has been determined already. So the main concern now is how do we accumulate the scores for the in-course component, and we have looked at some options, and that information will be provided soon.
Right. As for when it will be offered, one of the things we were looking at is that as soon as the exam section tells us when we're allowed to select dates for the semester 2 assessments, and we've approached them asking them that, we would try to put your exams in the very first week of that, so that we can start the training course in the very next week behind that, and then take you as far as we can down into July. So that is how we plan to make those weeks. And as Professor Hutton said, have more than one session per week. It just means that you don't have as much time between the classes as we normally allow, but you would still get the full training class, the full experience of training. So as I said, we've already started to make plans for that. As in, we have approached the exam section to try to get your exams as close as possible to the start of the exam period.
So let us conclude at this point, and as I say, you can access the recorded version of this meeting and training, and we will see each other at our respective classes online.
Okay, so thanks for coming, everybody. Walk good.